This is the Novogratz Bushwick modern metal bed, king size, in black. It has that clean, modern farmhouse vibe with slim metal spindles, rounded finials on the posts, and a low, minimalist profile. The headboard and footboard have a subtle arch with angular lines that keep it feeling current without being flashy. The powder-coated finish is smooth and matte, which is just a fancy way of saying the paint is baked on so it resists chipping and rust better than ordinary spray paint. On looks alone, it's a winner. It makes bedding and pillows pop and instantly tidies up a room visually. Key features people ask me about are pretty straightforward. The frame measures about 82.5 inches long by 78 inches wide by 42 inches high in the king size. The base height is adjustable, so you can set it low or raise it up for storage. From my experience, the two positions that matter are roughly 7 inches or 11 inches off the floor. At 11 inches, I can slide storage bins, duffels, and off-season gear under there with room to spare, which makes small bedrooms feel bigger. It's built with metal slats, so no box spring is needed. If you're new to bed frames, slats are the horizontal rails that hold your mattress up. A box spring is that big fabric-covered base many older beds use for lift and support. This frame removes that extra piece. There's a center bar and center legs for stability, and the brand lists a high weight capacity. The stated limit I've seen for this version is up to 900 pounds, which sounds reassuring on paper. There's also a 1-year limited warranty, and the tools come in the box. Assembly is required, but I'll explain how that went for me. From my experience, the look and the storage flexibility are the top reasons to consider it. If your room leans modern, rustic, or urban industrial, it fits right in. The finish hides dust reasonably well, and the slim rails make the room feel open rather than bulky. It's perfect for apartments, guest rooms, or anywhere you want that curated, Instagram-friendly look without paying designer prices. Assembly for me was a mixed bag over multiple builds. On a good day, I can put it together solo in about an hour. The instructions are simple, the bolts are labeled, and the included Allen key gets the job done. I've also had sessions where it turned into a chore because a few holes didn't line up perfectly or a threaded nut didn't bite right away. My workaround is to hand start every screw, leave all hardware slightly loose, square up the frame, then tighten gradually from the headboard end toward the footboard. That sequence helps take tension off the joints so they sit flush. If you're new to this, hand start just means turning the screw a few threads with your fingers first so you don't cross-thread metal parts. I also like to add a tiny bit of clear thread locker after the first week, since metal on metal can loosen as you move around on the bed. On hardwood floors, I always add rubber pads under the legs to stop sliding and dampen vibration. The slats are where I pay the most attention. They insert into small plastic seats. Make sure each slat is centered and fully seated so they can't twist. A misseated slat can squeak or pop free. I've had one build where a slat clip didn't grip tightly enough, and I had to gently pinch the clip to snug it up. I also check the center support legs so they actually touch the floor. If your floor is uneven, one leg might hover. A thin shim or furniture pad under that leg can help. That small detail goes a long way for stability. Let's talk about sleeping on it. In my opinion, right after assembly, the frame feels solid and supportive. The mattress stays put thanks to the raised side rails, and the slat spacing is fine for most foam or hybrid mattresses. Over time, my experience has split into 2 stories, depending on the unit. I've had a quiet, steady frame that just worked. I've also had a unit that started to creak after a few weeks. The squeak usually comes from micro movement where slats meet the frame or at joints that have loosened a hair. I've reduced the noise by retorquing bolts, adding nylon washers where metal parts meet, and putting a dab of silicone or lithium grease on contact points. Those fixes help, but they can be maintenance, not a permanent cure if the tolerances of your particular frame aren't perfect. Durability is where expectations matter. The brand lists a strong weight limit, and a lot of buyers report 0 issues. I also know what it feels like to wake up to a sudden chorus of squeaks when a pet jumps on the bed or a partner turns over. Metal frames rely on stiffness and tight joints to resist racking, which is a fancy way of saying twisting under side-to-side load. If the slats flex too much or a center leg isn't firmly planted, that twist can create noise and a slight shake. On one long-term unit, I noticed a slat bowing more than I liked for daily use for 2 adults. The mattress developed a soft dip in that area, which I traced back to slat flex. Swapping in a thin bunkie board, basically a rigid platform panel across the slats, gave the mattress uniform support and quieted things down a lot. Another approach I've used is to remove the Bushwick slats entirely and place an adjustable base or a separate platform inside the rails. That lets me keep the look of the headboard and footboard while handing support duties to a sturdier foundation. If you love the design, this shell plus base setup is a smart hack. On everyday practicality, the 11-inch clearance is a big benefit. I stash storage boxes without feeling like the room is cluttered. The frame itself weighs about what you'd expect for a metal king, light enough that I can pull it forward to vacuum without breaking a sweat. Lightweight is convenient, but it's also why I add non-skid pads on slick floors. The finish holds up well to regular cleaning. I just wiped it with a damp cloth and avoid harsh chemicals so the coating doesn't dull. Customer feedback is interesting here. I've seen lots of positive comments and a strong average rating, which lines up with how good it looks and how easy it can be to assemble. I've also seen noise complaints and a handful of durability concerns that mirror my tougher unit. That tells me quality control can vary. If yours goes together square, stays tight, and the center legs sit flat on the floor, chances are you'll have a good experience. If you run into stripped holes, misaligned brackets, or clips that fight you, document everything and contact support right away. The brand offers part replacements and a 1-year limited warranty, and the sooner you escalate, the better your outcome. It's perfect for anyone prioritizing style and storage in a room that won't get heavy daily use, like a guest room or a teen space where you want something fresh-looking and easy to clean. I'd recommend this for renters and homestagers who want a sharp visual upgrade without committing to a heavy wood bed. If you plan to sleep on it every night as a couple and you're picky about noise, I'd build in a contingency. Either plan to add a bunkie board from day one or pair the frame with a separate adjustable base inside the rails. That approach has given me the look I want with the support I trust. From my experience, the best assembly tips are simple. Lay out all parts before you start. Don't fully tighten anything until everything is connected. Check the center legs for floor contact. Add felt or rubber feet to prevent slide and hum on hardwood. If a joint squeaks later, snug it up and add a washer or a dab of non-staining lubricant. These are small steps, but they make a noticeable difference on any metal frame, not just this one. In my opinion, the core trade-off is very clear. The Bushwick nails the aesthetic at its price point, and the adjustable height is a real everyday win. The functional experience ranges from solid to fussy depending on unit tolerances and how you set it up. If you're comfortable doing a little tinkering, you can get this bed quiet and supportive. If you want zero maintenance and absolute silence, go for a heavier frame with thicker steel or add a rigid platform layer over the slats. That approach has given me the look I want with the support I trust. In conclusion, the Novogratz Bushwick modern metal bed delivers great style, practical storage, and a straightforward setup when everything lines up. I've had both a quiet and steady build and a squeaky one that needed extra love. With the right tweaks, tight hardware, floor contact on center legs, non-skid pads, and a rigid layer over the slats if needed, it can serve you well, especially in lower use rooms. If you love the look but want rock-solid nightly performance, consider the shell plus adjustable base route for the best of both worlds. If this video helped you, hit subscribe for more honest real-world gear reviews and drop your questions or experience with this bed in the comments. Thank you for watching.